Now, to give you a couple of clues as to where I am, if I tell you that that peak behind me is one of the highest in the British Isles, and that beneath my feet is a cavern big enough to hold St Paul's Cathedral, well, you might just figure out where we are. So join me for what promises to be a very mountainous escape to the country. On today's show, I'm helping two nature lovers find a home in the big outdoors. There's a muted response to one of our properties.
It's not grabbing me.
It's not grabbing you?
No, dear.
But jubilation at another.
Are you happy now? Hey, brilliant.
Well, today we're in North Wales in the mountains of Snowdonia. And deep beneath my feet is the largest man-made cavern in Europe, and it contains the Dinorwic hydroelectric plant. And that reservoir behind me, well, that's what it's all about. That contains over 7 million cubic metres of water. Once a day, they drain it through the mountain, creating enough energy to supply all of Wales with electricity for 6 hours. Now, later on in the programme, I'll be back here finding out a little more about its inner workings and how this feat of engineering came about. But in the meantime, here's a taster of what the rest of this glorious region has to offer. When it comes to house hunting, this is one of my favourite parts of the world. And when you look at the view behind me, you can see why. That is the Malvac estuary, and behind it, the mountains of Snowdonia. Wordsworth called it sublime, with views equal to any Scottish glen. And quite frankly, I think he was right. But the good news is that you can have all of this for pretty good value for money. At £178,000, your average property here is a cool £80,000 below the national figure. Now, of course, that can rise to the north of Gwynedd, up around Conway and Porthmadog, ever popular with holiday makers. But you could save even more if you take your search over towards the old slate mining centre of Blaenau Festiniog. There you could save up to 25%. So as you can see, when it comes to beauty and value for money, this is the place to be, which is exactly why today's buyers want to be here. Retired teacher Anne and systems analyst Graham live in a bungalow in the seaside town of Broadstairs, Kent, and they're itching for a change.
Well, we've been here now for 12 years, which is the longest we've ever stayed in a house. But we're ready for somewhere new now.
As passionate walkers, they feel the mountains of Snowdonia are the ideal spot for their new home.
Every year we go on a walking holiday somewhere, and this year we were planning a walking holiday in Wales in the Snowdonia area. We've also been talking about moving house, and suddenly the idea came to put the two together, and we'd actually go and live in the Snowdonia area.
As well as walking, Graham and Anne have other hobbies which keep them busy.
In my spare time, I like to potter around with my hands. I've been doing more woodwork. I also started making some patio furniture. I've got a table I'm working on and some chairs I'm going to plan to do later.
After I retired, I decided painting. I'm going to start painting. And I did. I went to the local college and started doing oil painting in acrylics. I'm hoping when we get to Snowdonia that I'll be able to look at the landscapes there. There should be a tremendous selection of greens.
Although they both enjoy gardening, Graham and Anne are looking to downsize when they move.
Because the garden's getting a bit too big for us to, you know, as we're getting older, you find you don't have the same amount of energy.
A garden to enjoy rather than a lot of work.
Yes, a garden to enjoy, that's the way to put it, yeah.
And while they'll need enough bedrooms for visiting family, it's the downstairs space that's crucial for Anne.
We don't want anything dark. We'd like large rooms, as large as possible, for the rest of the house as well. But it's more important that the living area is large and light.
But more than anything, it's all about location.
We're surrounded by houses. You know, you're overlooking other people, and it would be nice to be able to just look out and see green fields and hills behind.
So how much money do they have to play with?
The budget for the new house will be £300,000.
Since Graham and Anne are firmly set on Snowdonia, we're concentrating our property search within the boundaries of the national park. And that's where I've come to meet them.
Well, good morning, Graham. Nice to see you.
Jules.
Good morning, Jules.
How are we? This
fine, thank you.
gorgeous morning, isn't it?
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely
Fantastic.
lovely. Yeah.
Perfect house hunting weather.
Yeah.
And the good news, of course, is that you have sold your house, so you're ready
Yeah.
to go.
Yes.
Yes, we got lucky. We knew somebody wanted to buy it, so it was all very simple.
In an afternoon.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you are extremely lucky
I
these
told them
days.
at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we shook hands at 5:30.
Brilliant. And what are we looking for?
Well, we want 3 bedrooms.
At
and
least.
At least 3. We want a nice open living area. We want a garden, a private garden. We like a private garden.
Yep.
And preferably some space outside, garage, workshop, that sort of thing.
And I'm sure, goes without saying, some views, because
Oh,
let's
some
face
views,
The
yeah.
views, the sea, or the mountains, it's
Or both.
fantastic. Both would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah. But we'd like outbuildings, and I'd like somewhere to do my artwork. So
Yeah.
So I'd like an art studio where I can leave things out
Yeah.
instead of having them in the corner of the bedroom. You know.
Now, the budget you've got to spend, just remind us of that, Anne.
The budget is £300,000, possibly up to £325,000 if it's perfect.
We've got 3 to show you, including, of course, our mystery house.
Yeah.
We're
Let's go.
looking forward to that.
Come on
Yeah.
For a maximum budget of £325,000, Graham and Anne want a distinctive detached property. The accommodation needs to include 3 bedrooms for when the family come and stay, a light and spacious living area, a private garden and an outbuilding for an art studio or workshop. But most importantly, our nature lovers want good views of the surrounding countryside. We've found 3 wonderful Welsh properties to wow them with, and at each one I'll be asking them to guess the price at the end of the house tour. Our final offering, the Mystery House, will set out to test them, and it's unconventional, to say the least. So guys, the walking has led you all the way across the country to Snowdonia.
It has.
It has indeed. We've walked the width of the country, I think.
And how are you getting on with the Welsh language?
Yeah, we're beginners. We're learning to say bore da and banon da.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon. That's
Yeah.
almost as far as
yeah.
we've got. We're picking up odd words.
And of course, you know, cheers.
Cheers must be yaki da.
Yaki da,
Yes,
there you are.
Everybody knows
Yeah.
that one.
You're natural, so you're going to fit in here beautifully. For our first property, we're heading to the small coastal village of Rhiog in the county of Gwynedd. The closest amenities can be found in the seaside resort of Fairbourne, located at the mouth of the River Malva. As well as shops and a church, the village has an award-winning sandy beach, which stretches for 2 miles. It's also home to a miniature steam railway, which has been serving tourists and locals for nearly 100 years. Our first house is just a mile inland from the village.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
There we are.
Oh, yes.
That's a surprise.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it bigger than you thought it might be?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's different to what I thought it would be. I don't know. I was expecting a stone thing, and it's not. It's
Well, the
It's
core
all
of it is.
rendered.
It's
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
been
It's
rendered
been
with
rendered.
that pebble
Yeah.
dash. This is the bulk of lawned garden, which you can see now.
Yeah.
Again, very secluded.
Yeah.
And you've also got quite an interesting sort of terrace garden up there.
Oh, right, yeah.
Shall we?
Shall we go in?
Let's have a look inside.
This double-fronted Victorian house has been extended at the back to create a large kitchen diner, which I'm hoping will be right up Ann Street. And that's where we're heading, via an unusually bright and spacious entrance hall.
And let's start with this. Come on in, Anne.
Wow.
It's a big room, isn't it?
It's not what I expected at all.
Were you expecting quite pokey?
I was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've obviously taken it through.
They have. Yeah, they've extended that way. We'll have a look at that in a moment. But I love the features in here, not least that huge.
That stove is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you said you were expecting something that might have been stone. I think
Yeah.
underneath it all, it is stone. There,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
revealed. Look at this. This is the hole that was made in the old external wall. Look
Yeah.
how
The
thick it
original
is.
wall.
Yeah. Plenty of stone in there.
Yeah.
But this has made a
wall.
really good addition to it. These lovely skylights.
Yeah.
Very simply done. There's your main cooker, induction hob, and all the rest of it. So you've got the best of both worlds.
It's lovely and light and airy, isn't it? Yeah, you could make this more of a living room as well.
You could. And there's a larder in there, which is rather nice as well.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Have a look.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Pantry.
Yeah.
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 Good. Come on, let's
That's it.
continue.
Let's
It's
continue.
all going well.
Yeah.
As well as this enormous reception room which runs the length of the house, across the hallway there's a sitting room with panelled sash windows overlooking the front of the property, a generous utility room and a small study area. Upstairs, where they've made clever use of the landing space, there are 4 bedrooms which share a decent-sized modern family bathroom. 3 of the bedrooms are doubles and there's a single, and all are light and bright.
Come into this one. Now, in many respects, it's hard to ascribe a master bedroom as such because they're all very similar. There are 4 to choose from. But yeah, I think this is probably as good an example as any, really. Again, lovely light.
Lovely light view, yeah.
Now, we also have an attic, and I'm thinking maybe an art room.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It's got good windows.
It's got some great windows. Come and have a look at this.
Going up into heaven.
Well, is it heaven? There we are.
All right. Yeah.
I like the beams, and I don't often say I like the beams.
Yeah.
They're great, aren't they? These are
They're
original,
good.
which
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very typical with these central pins, you know, through the apex.
Yeah.
Just kind of rough
Yeah, they're
in,
very,
really.
yeah.
It's out of the house area, so you can leave it
Exactly.
with your activity without having to pack it away every time you do it.
So how are we doing on our property 1?
I like certain aspects of it, but I think the lounge is a little bit small.
And I think the outside space is a little bit lacking.
Outside there are a couple of sheds for Graham to potter in and a smaller lawn just like they asked for. There's also a quirky terraced area to the side of the house, bordered by trees which would give them the privacy they crave.
OK, so there is our house number 1. In a moment, I'm going to get you to go up there and have an explore of what is on offer out here. But I suppose, ultimately, it's going to come down to the price, isn't it? Any thoughts what that might be?
It's difficult. I would go 280.
280, ooh. Do you think that's optimistic?
No, I was going to go lower than that.
Were you?
Yeah, I was going to go 275.
Wow, OK. Well, this is on the market at 299,950. And, you know, given that these things are open to offers, your guesstimates probably aren't far off, really.
Okay.
Right then, well, I think go and have an explore up there. Watch your footing, and I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Okay, look
thanks.
forward to that. Thank you.
Just shy of £300,000, this detached period house is within Anne and Graham's budget, and in many ways it seems to fit the bill. The kitchen diner is big and bright. There are 4 good-sized bedrooms for the family to stay, and a handy attic which could make a great artist's studio for Anne. The garden is smaller and more secluded than their current one, and although there are no outbuildings, Graham could use one of the sheds as a workshop.
We could lose the grandchildren in here.
This has been a great garden at some point. It's a good size of house. From that point of view, I liked it. It's a fine house, but it just wasn't a house that appealed to me a great deal, visually, from the outside.
And when I came in, I was absolutely amazed at the size of the dining kitchen. This house needs to be lived in to make it into a home. At the moment, it's not homely.
North Wales in the sunshine. You can't beat it. Hey, here we are. Happy house hunters.
Yeah.
How are we doing then?
All right.
Good.
Yeah, it's gaining more positivity all the way through.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure at all, but
yeah.
it's been good.
Well, let's tempt you with a bit more. Come on.
Okay.
Snowdonia is a land rich in mineral wealth, and one of the region's greatest natural assets, which formed 500 million years ago, is slate. People have been quarrying it here for nearly 2,000 years, but it really took off during the Industrial Revolution. Today, large-scale mining has dwindled, but the former quarries are a dramatic reminder of a bygone era. Graham and Anne are fascinated by Snowdonia's landscape and heritage, so we sent them to Dorothea Slate Quarry, the largest in the area, which in its heyday employed 500 people. They're meeting Roger Davis, who runs a nearby slate works.
So what's the slate used for, Roger?
It was mainly used for roofing slates.
Yeah.
The method of extraction was you had various men working on the rock face.
Yeah.
They were anchored with a rope at the top, a rope around their leg, and halfway down the rock face, they would use a 2 metre, a 6 foot length of metal called a jumper, which they would continually ramp into the rock face to make a hole where they could place their explosives. And that would bring down a certain amount of block down to the quarry floor, and then the quarrymen would split them into smaller blocks
To transport
them down to the mill.
The quarry was prone to flooding, and the need to continually pump water out eventually hit profits. The site closed in 1970. But Welsh slate is undergoing a bit of a renaissance, and Rogers Company is one of a few artisan producers still operating in the area. Established in 1861, they produce anything from roofing slates to ornamental fireplaces and engraved memorial stones. Today, roofing slates are still split by hand, but there's a knack to getting it right.
And I will show you how it's done by using this hammer and chisel.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
The key to a successful split is cutting the slate exactly in half and avoiding any fault lines in the material, something only the human eye can see.
We're splitting from what we call the head down.
Oh, just...
So, and if you would like to have a go, give it a good whack. I'll help you. Give it a good bang, and again. Keep going. Hit it.
Hit it harder.
There we go. There you are. And that's seen daylight after 500 million years.
The process is continued until the slate is thin enough. Time now for Graham to show off his skills.
A good whack. There we go. And then if you like, Graham, you can try and split that one. And you might be in the Guinness Book of Records.
Not the difficult bits now.
Of the thinnest slate. There we go.
Oh, well done.
There we are.
Thank you.
That's a souvenir each way.
Oh, thank you.
With a slate to take away, we just need to find our buyers a roof to put it on. With that in mind, it's back to the house hunt. For our second property, we're heading inland to the hamlet of Abertrinant. Nestled in a river valley, the nearby village of Abergynolwyn developed in the 19th century to house workers from a nearby slate quarry. A few miles north of the village, set within the foothills of the Snowdonia National Park, our second property offers Graham and Anne more isolation, but it's quite a trek to get there.
Now, with that last one, you said I was expecting something kind of stone built.
This is stone.
This is stone built.
Yeah.
Stone
This
built,
is
yeah.
a proper stone house. I like it. It looks nice.
Yeah,
I mean, it probably feels a little bit isolated,
it does a bit, yes.
but it's a very pretty spot, this. What do you think, Graham? I get the sense that you're perhaps a little more excited about this one than others.
I think we would both like this house a lot. Anna's upset a bit because we've come a long way on a single track road, which she doesn't like. But the house itself and
The
the
house
spot when we
itself
get here,
looks
it's
nice.
just amazing.
Yeah.
Stick with it, Anne. It'll be all right. It's a really lovely house, this.
Okay.
Have a look at the house. Go.
It's not as remote
Let's
as you
go in
think.
and have a look at the house. Go on.
Not the best of starts, but I hope Anne's concerns over location will be forgotten once she finds out what's on offer inside this detached farmhouse, parts of which date back to the early 19th century.
Come through. Graham, if you can grab the door.
Okay.
We've got two living rooms here. That's the smaller of them, more of a kind of library reading room. This is the bigger one. They're both sort of similar, I suppose, certainly in terms of roof height. And the fireplaces and the wood burners, which they provide you with, they're exactly the same next door in here. And they've both got these sets of double doors.
Okay. Yeah.
You could, in theory, open the whole thing up and have a huge living room with two sets of double doors, letting all that lovely light in.
Yeah.
Anne's gone quiet again.
It's not grabbing me.
It's not grabbing you.
Oh dear.
Is it? What is it then? Just the size of the rooms,
Yeah.
or?
Yeah.
Should we try the kitchen?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what you think of that. There you go. Come in.
Oh. Oh.
Is that better?
That's a lot better.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
What's better?
It's just got space. It's airy. It's light.
Shape is good.
Yeah. It just opens
The
out.
fittings are more to your taste.
Beams are nice.
Yeah.
Beams are not
Yeah.
bad. That
Yeah.
cupboard was obviously made to fit that wall.
Yeah, it was.
No, this is good because you've got the dining table there. You've got a nice window with what you might call views through the window.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought we'd lost Anne completely, but the light and spacious kitchen has re-energised the house tour. In addition to the kitchen, there's also an adjacent utility room to house all the white goods. Upstairs, off a central landing, you'll find a family bathroom. There are 3 bedrooms up here, one of which is a single, and there's also a double which overlooks the front of the property. And next to that is the master.
It's very similar to what's next door,
Right.
size-wise. So they're interchangeable, really, as masters. Again, we haven't got an ensuite
Okay.
on offer, but you've got the family bathroom across the landing.
It's a good big room.
It is a good big room, yeah.
There's
yeah.
a couple of big wardrobes, so it's kind of bigger than you think, actually.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it would have had a fireplace there originally. There's a radiator there now.
Yeah.
It's a good sized room. It's a pleasing shape, actually. I like the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More height than you perhaps would consider from the outside.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
I did wonder, looking at the outside of the house, I was thinking maybe the upstairs is a bit lacking on height, but it's not, no. In fact, it's quite a bit more than a modern house, probably.
Our second property has both light and height, and even Anne seems to be warming to it. Outside, there are lawn gardens to the front and back, and also within the grounds, a purpose-built garden studio, which could be excellent for artist Anne.
Well, we'll finish up here. This is the bigger bits of garden. Little
Yeah.
vegetable patch down there, some apple trees and so on. And above us, some quarries and what have you, which are probably the source of the stone for the house. It's got lots of quartz in it, too. The Welsh have got this old saying that if you put quartz in a wall, it brings the building good luck. So I'm crossing everything here, Anne, to see what you're going to say now.
Of course, in it.
Let's talk about the price.
I'm going to say 280.
280.
I'll go down and say 270.
270. So similar to what you said before, really. I get the feeling that's probably what you really want to spend. Well, I'm afraid you'll have to spend a little more than that.
Okay.
This is on the market at 295,000.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, in the margin of error, I think,
Yeah.
given negotiation and so on.
We're all in the same area.
It's in the same
really.
ballpark.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why not go back inside and see how you might rejig it? And just, remind yourself of where we are on a day like this. I mean, just soak it up. It's gorgeous.
I know.
Go on, off
Yeah.
you go.
Okay.
And I
See you
will
later.
Find you later on.
Okay, thank you.
If I haven't lost myself up on a mountain, because this area is absolutely stunning. We couldn't have had a better day to come and see this house. And if you want rural seclusion and value for money, I don't think you can beat it.
At £295,000, our second property, a 200-year-old detached farmhouse, is just under Graham and Anne's minimum budget. The accommodation includes a spacious kitchen diner and the option to create a large living room out of the existing reception rooms. Upstairs, there are 3 bedrooms. It's surrounded by unspoilt open countryside, has the views they wished for, a low-maintenance garden, and the bonus of a separate studio.
The kitchen and dining area are very nice. The lounge and these snug need to be put into one room. It's just too small. I have a big but on house 2, and that is not the location, but the distance from shops, neighbours, and things like that. It's just too isolated.
The approach seemed to be a long way over a single track road, and Anne wasn't very keen on that at all. When we got here over the hill coming down there, I thought it's fantastic setting. It really is a beautiful spot. The house itself looks the part, it looks a picture. It's a classic Welsh stone house, about the right size. It looks great. It's in a fantastic location. We like a location that looks like this, but Anne would like a shop just around the corner as well.
How are we doing?
Improving.
Improving. Wow. It was an uphill battle, although I can't see why, because it's just gorgeous. But, the house has to grab you.
It does, yeah.
Well, I think it's been a good, interesting day. It's been a hot day.
Yeah.
Cold beer?
Sounds
good to me.
Come on.
Sounds good. Yeah.
It's this way.
This way.
It's day 2 of our property search, and on a budget of £325,000, we're helping Graham and Anne swap the town of Broadstairs, Kent, for Snowdonia. Coming up, the mystery house leaves Anne struggling for words.
I think it's ticked a lot of boxes.
I think it has.
Yeah.
You're losing your voice.
I am.
The emotion's catching up with you,
It
Anne.
definitely is.
Good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need an extra big kettle at one of the country's largest power stations.
That's 92,000 gallons.
Equivalent to 1.5 million cups of tea.
Well, as we head into what I hope will be another glorious day of house hunting here in Snowdonia, if I'm honest, so far, I think the process has been somewhat frustrating. Getting Anne and Graham to agree equally about what's important has proved difficult. Anne clearly doesn't want to be too isolated, but at the same time, they also want a sense of community, but with a greater awareness of outside space. That is a difficult equation to satisfy. So for our final offering, our mystery house, we're going to raid the property market once more for something that I hope will offer them a greater sense of community, but with a bit more land.
For our mystery house, we're heading back to the coast, to the seaside village of Cloyne Grill on the edge of Cardigan Bay. The village is steeped in history and has strong links with the early Quaker movement. But not forgetting that Graham and Anne are keen explorers, I want to show them the best vantage point of the area.
And what this location gives you is a beautiful mixture, as you can see, of sea
Yeah.
and upland
The
as well.
mountains, yeah.
Yeah, and on a day like this, in the mist over there is the Llŷn Peninsula running across,
Okay.
right to left. Beyond that is Anglesey, Snowdonia up there, of course. You know, in terms of beaches and walking, plenty on offer. And Cloyne Grill itself is rather nice. You've got pubs, post offices, all the sort of stuff you would want. And importantly, community, Anne.
Thank you.
OK. And that community of 500 people includes a shop, pub and church. And it's just down the road from our mystery house. Yesterday we played it safe and showed Graham and Anne 2 conventional Welsh stone cottages. But today we're offering our buyers an unconventional property with a topsy-turvy layout. It's a gamble, as our mystery house has a former industrial life, the remnants of which survive.
So how about it then? Not just a house,
It's good.
it's an old converted watermill.
That is fantastic. Yeah.
Can you hear the noise of the water there?
We
Yeah.
can. Looks good.
It looks good.
Looks good.
I think
I'm
this
very
is
optimistic.
drawing all of our thoughts together. I think in terms of what's on offer, you've got obviously this lawned area here,
Yeah.
access to the stream itself, and the garden rises up behind with loads of nice little seating areas tucked away that offer you sun traps throughout the day.
Yeah. OK,
Come on.
looking forward to this.
Our mystery house is a former watermill. Well built to house heavy machinery, the rooms inside are spacious with high ceilings, but they're not necessarily in the right places. First off, the kitchen.
Right, Anne, come on in. Tell me what you think of this kitchen diner.
Yes.
It'll do.
Yeah, hurrah!
It'll do.
Look at this, smiles all round,
Yeah.
nodding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all good. This
Yes,
is all
it's,
good.
The vibes
it's
are
a nice room. It's not just a kitchen either. It's got a little lounge as well,
Yeah, with a wood burner.
with a wood burner.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And that's rather nice. There's a stable door there that leads you out onto the decking with another little sun trap for you.
Taller than I thought as well.
Yeah.
It's a good height on the ceiling.
You've got height and you've got really strong structural integrity, which is, you know, always useful, but it gives you lots of space to play with when you're converting a building like this. I love old industrial buildings because they are so amenable.
Yeah.
We're off to a flying start. Let's continue.
The layout of the accommodation is far from normal. Across the hallway from the kitchen are 2 of the 3 bedrooms, 1 double and a single, and both serviced by a downstairs cloakroom. But we're heading upstairs, which is where you'll find the main family bathroom, a master bedroom and the living room.
Our upside-down living room. Now, I know we've struggled with the last properties in terms of living room space.
Yeah.
Crossing everything on this one.
This
Yeah.
one's a good size.
It's a good size.
It's a lovely room.
It's well proportioned as well.
And I was concerned about the lights. I know the windows look quite small from the outside, but there's plenty of light in here when you get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a thumbs up.
Definitely a thumbs up.
Hey!
Yeah. You definitely saved the best for last.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, the master bedroom is just across the hallway.
All right,
Have a look at
let's
this.
go.
There we go. Yes?
Yeah.
That's a nice room, and it's even nicer when you look behind.
Yes, look at that. You've got your own ensuite, which is nice. And again, lots of light from these windows pouring in.
That's nice.
It is. All the rooms are lighter than I thought they'd be.
Your face is a picture, isn't it? This is great.
I think it's
Change.
Yeah.
Wow, how a house can
nice
change the mood.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Our mystery house has done rather well so far.
I think it's ticked a lot of boxes.
I think it has.
Yeah.
You're losing your voice.
I am.
The emotion's catching up with you,
It
Anne.
definitely is.
Good.
Yeah.
Our former watermill has definitely got the juices flowing, but there's even more to this property than simply the main house. As well as a landscape garden and access to the stream that once powered the mill, the grounds feature 2 outbuildings. One is currently being used as a utility room, but could make an excellent workshop for Graham. But the other has 2 floors and is already set up as an artist's studio. Anne and Graham are clearly impressed with the package here, set in these glorious grounds. All that remains now is to talk about the money.
How much do we think our mystery house is worth, then?
I think you've blown our budget and a bit more on this one, Jules.
Yep.
So I'm going to go 340.
340. Anne?
I was going to go 345.
You could have this for £325,000.
We may well do that.
You see? How about that? Is that a deal? It might be.
Quite.
Thank you.
How exciting. Are you happy now?
I am.
Hey, brilliant. Well, look, we're going to give you plenty of time on this one.
Yeah.
Go and have a look around. See if it really is for you.
Yeah.
And I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, once again, our mystery house, it would seem, has done it. And why not? It's in a fabulous location that mixes the best of coast and mountains and in a beautiful building. And when it comes to water features running through your garden, well, take it from me, they don't get much more impressive than that one.
At £325,000, this converted watermill is bang on Graham and Anne's maximum budget. It has the big kitchen diner and the spacious lounge they'd set their hearts on. 3 bedrooms for the family to come and stay in, and an outbuilding for each of them. With wonderful lawn gardens and their own stream, it's unmistakably rural, but with all the local amenities of the village just a short walk away.
Whoa. That's fantastic.
I've used it for laundry. You could use it for
There's a freezer.
welly boots and
Yeah.
hiking stuff and that sort of stuff as well,
Yeah.
couldn't you?
Round every corner there's a nice surprise.
This is not what we were looking for at all. But now we've found it, we like it. It's amazing. We like it. We like it a lot.
I feel at home already. It just fits round me. Whenever I've stood in a doorway or sat on a chair, it just feels as if, yeah, I could live here.
I have to fit you up a whirligig somewhere.
That's a good idea, yeah. That's
Down
what
by the
needs
river,
it.
possibly.
How did I know
Definitely.
that you'd be out here enjoying the weather? And why not? It's a lovely end to this house tour.
It is.
It is.
I think it's a winner.
I think it could well be.
Right then, off you go.
OK?
We'll all give it a little more thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, if you too have been tantalised by some of the properties that we've been able to show Anne and Graham this week, here's a selection of some other priceless little gems that are on the market right now.
The Snowdonia area offers an abundance of attractive detached stone cottages, like this 3-bedroom example in the village of Caerdion, on the market for £207,000. The accommodation includes a bright modern kitchen and a dual-aspect sitting room and dining area, with windows overlooking the garden, and the house itself is surrounded by woodland. Further up the price scale, £425,000 could get you this 4-bedroom detached bungalow near the Dolgethlau Golf Course in the National Park. Set in extensive landscape gardens with views of the mountains, the property features a large lounge with a bay window and a spacious kitchen and breakfast room. If you've got even more to spend, then how about this 5-bedroom country house overlooking the lake at Talyllyn, on the market for £595,000. Currently used as a luxury bed and breakfast, the interior includes this large conservatory and a high-ceiling bedroom with impressive views overlooking the lake. An area of outstanding natural beauty, the scenic Snowdonian mountains may at first seem an unusual location for a power station. But clever civil engineering has made use of the natural landscape to build and hide one of the largest hydroelectric schemes in Europe. Commissioned in 1984, the De Norwig plant harnesses water power by using 2 lakes high up in the mountains. And that's where I've come to meet Operations Manager Geraint Jones. So in simple layman's terms, Geraint, how does it work?
Well, we've got 2 lakes. The upper lake's called Llyn Marchlin, and it stores about 7.5 million cubic metres of water. And we've got the lake just by our feet here, Llyn Peris, and we move the water from the top lake through a set of tunnels, through our turbines, which generate the electricity, and into this bottom lake. And then at night, once that water's done all the work during the day, when there's a demand for electricity, it's all pumped up to the top lake, ready for the morning again.
So you've got a lake here and a lake there. You pump it up overnight and then literally pull the plug out, let it race through your turbines, and that's where you get your energy.
That's right. We've got 6 machines, so we've got effectively 6 great big taps that we can open and close to regulate the flow of water and regulate the output of the electricity.
So, I mean, it's probably a stupid question, but why here? Is it because of the mountains that this site works for this particular kind of power station?
That's right. There aren't many choices really in the UK. You had to find 2 reservoirs that were quite close together horizontally, a good vertical distance between them, and there were only 3 such locations in the UK, all in this part of North Wales, and this was the one that was finally chosen.
Can we go and take a closer look?
Yeah, let's go and have a look.
The actual power station is buried deep inside the mountain. To minimise environmental impact, engineers made use of an old slate quarry to house the pumps and turbines in what's now Europe's largest man-made cavern. So what's this room?
This is the main inlet valve gallery.
The inlet valve gallery?
Yeah, this is the nearest that we can get to the upper lake within the station complex.
So is this where the water comes into the power station?
That's right, through this pipe in front of us here, and down through the valve and on its way to the turbines. When this valve would be open, we're talking about 92,000 gallons a second passing that point.
A second?
Yeah.
So that's 92,000 gallons?
Equivalent to 1.5 million cups of tea.
So where does the water go after here?
It then finds its way to the turbine, which we'll go and see next.
Yeah, sure. Which way? That way?
Yeah.
De Norwig is a fast response plant, gearing into action when there are sudden surges in power demand across the UK. Its turbines are capable of reaching their maximum speed in less than 16 seconds.
Well, it's a lot noisier in here.
Just a bit. Yeah, this is the doing part of the station, if you like. This is the top of the turbine, and we can see the shaft here spinning away at 500 revolutions per minute.
That's what you can do with 92,000 gallons of water a second.
That's right, yeah.
That's incredible.
The electricity made at the plant is transferred to the national grid by underground cables. At full capacity, it can supply the whole of Wales with power for 6 hours. It's an extraordinary feat of engineering, adopting the same principles of hydro energy that have been used for centuries.
Now, if you've ever been persuaded by the chorus of people who will try and tell you that the weather in Wales is rubbish, well, think again. This could be the Caribbean, the perfect conditions for Anne and Graham to consider all that we have shown them. Now, we do like to give our buyers plenty of time, but on this occasion, I don't think we need it. Let's go and find them and see if we've got a sale. Now then, you two. It's been quite a remarkable week, this.
Certainly has.
It's been eventful.
It certainly has, not just because of the weather, but what a journey we've had through our houses. You've thought about it, I guess.
Yes.
We have.
I suspect there wasn't a huge amount of thought needed, if we're honest, but come on, Anne, try and put it into one sentence. What is it about the mystery house that you fell in love with?
It's just wonderful. Just home.
It felt like home.
It felt like home.
And how does Graham feel about it?
I'm very excited about it. You know, it's great moving to a new place. We're nervous, you know, we're excited, everything. But that house The old mill is just, it's unique. You know, it's a one-off.
So, how close are we to making it your new home? What happens next?
Well, we need to talk to the estate agents, the owners a bit, and I guess we need to put an offer in and see if it gets accepted.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I suspect, having spoken to the owners, that if your offer starts with a 3, it will be yours.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
That'd be fantastic.
Well, if I'm really honest with you, I wasn't sure if we would get there this week. It was a bit of an uphill battle. We pulled it out of the bag at the last minute.
You did indeed, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, with spectacular results. Go and put your offer in.
Okay.
And let us know how you get on.
We will do.
I wish I was a fly on the wall for that one. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, what a week this has been. Trying to keep a hold of all the highs and lows in this property search, well, that's been like trying to hang on to a roller coaster. But the good news is we've got there. Just a few minutes ago, Anne and Graham had their offer accepted on our mystery house, and we are all, of course, delighted. And why not? We've had great weather, great landscape, and great properties. I'll see you next time. If you would like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, or even further afield to the continent and would like our help, then please apply online. Now, to give you a couple of clues as to where I am, if I tell you that that peak behind me is one of the highest in the British Isles, and that beneath my feet is a cavern big enough to hold St Paul's Cathedral, well, you might just figure out where we are. So join me for what promises to be a very mountainous escape to the country. On today's show, I'm helping 2 nature lovers find a home in the big outdoors. There's a muted response to one of our properties.
It's not grabbing me.
It's not grabbing you.
Oh, dear.
But jubilation at another. Are you happy now?
Hey, brilliant.
Well, today we're in North Wales in the mountains of Snowdonia. And deep beneath my feet is the largest man-made cavern in Europe, and it contains the Dinorwic hydroelectric plant. And that reservoir behind me, well, that's what it's all about. That contains over 7 million cubic metres of water. Once a day, they drain it through the mountain, creating enough energy to supply all of Wales with electricity for 6 hours. Now, later on in the programme, I'll be back here finding out a little more about its inner workings and how this feat of engineering came about. But in the meantime, here's a taster of what the rest of this glorious region has to offer. When it comes to house hunting, this is one of my favourite parts of the world. And when you look at the view behind me, you can see why. That is the Malvach estuary, and behind it, the mountains of Snowdonia. Wordsworth called it sublime, with views equal to any Scottish glen. And quite frankly, I think he was right. But the good news is that you can have all of this for pretty good value for money. At £178,000, your average property here is a cool £80,000 below the national figure. Now, of course, that can rise to the north of Gwynedd, up around Conway and Porthmadog, ever popular with holiday makers. But you could save even more if you take your search over towards the old slate mining centre of Blaenau Festiniog. There you could save up to 25%. So as you can see, when it comes to beauty and value for money, this is the place to be, which is exactly why today's buyers want to be here. Retired teacher Anne and systems analyst Graham live in a bungalow in the seaside town of Broadstairs, Kent, and they're itching for a change.
Well, we've been here now for 12 years, which is the longest we've ever stayed in a house. But we're ready for somewhere new now.
As passionate walkers, they feel the mountains of Snowdonia are the ideal spot for their new home.
Every year we go on a walking holiday somewhere. And this year we were planning a walking holiday in Wales, in the Snowdonia area. We've also been talking about moving house, and suddenly the idea came to put the two together, and we'd actually go and live in the Snowdonia area.
As well as walking, Graham and Anne have other hobbies which keep them busy.
In my spare time, I like to potter around with my hands. I've been doing more woodwork. I also started making some patio furniture. I've got a table I'm working on and some chairs I'm going to plan to do later.
After I retired, I decided painting. I'm going to start painting. And I did. I went to the local college and started doing oil painting and acrylics. I'm hoping when we get to Snowdonia that I'll be able to look at the landscapes there. There should be a tremendous selection of greens.
Although they both enjoy gardening, Graham and Anne are looking to downsize when they move.
Because the garden's getting a bit too big for us to, you know, as we're getting older, you find you don't have the same amount of energy.
A garden to enjoy rather than a lot of work.
Yes, a garden to enjoy, that's the way to put it, yeah.
And while they'll need enough bedrooms for visiting family, it's the downstairs space that's crucial for Anne.
We don't want anything dark. We'd like large rooms, as large as possible, for the rest of the house as well. But it's more important that the living area